So the next guy I'm going to introduce, I really didn't like the first time I met him. He was Matt Williamson, because I'd just gone through 6 months of talking to everyone I knew and flying around the country to try to raise a seed round for AdSense. We ended up raising the seed round, but it was like blood, sweat, and tears to get it done. And the first time I meet Matt, Matt's like, oh man, like it took us 6 weeks, we don't even have a product, like we closed our seed round, and it's awesome. And that's when I realized that while engineers are awesome, like having a guy who can really sell is an awesome and amazing thing as well. So Matt Williamson is the CEO of Windsor Circle. That's got an awesome story.
I do have to ask really quick, how many people are at state right now? And do we have any Tar Heels in our house somewhere? Got a couple Tar Heels. Any Dookies? No Dookies? Good. So, you know, I'm a double Tar Heel, and you know that old adage that my favorite team is my two favorite teams are Carolina and whoever just beat Duke. So, you know, kudos to you if I can even do the Wolf. Is that right? Maybe the three big things I like to share with entrepreneurs when I'm talking about the journey is, you know, the very first is jump. Be fearless about jumping. The second is be fearless about failure. You are going to fail. In fact, I heard a West Coast entrepreneur one time say, if you're not failing 70% of the time, you're not working hard enough. You're not being creative enough. And that really impressed upon me how absolutely critical it is to be fearless about trying things and being okay with failure, because that's how you learn. The third thing that I would echo from one of the other speakers is organize your life around the opportunity to have this freedom. And so for us, what that meant is, you know, I was the VP of sales at Bronto. A lot of you probably know that company Bronto. I was employee number 13, helped them get up to 100. I was driving a 10-year-old Honda Civic. There were interns driving better cars than I would. But the reason I was doing that is because I was socking away from my big push to freedom, right? And when we finally got to a point where I felt like I could do it, I put my wife and my kids on a catastrophic plan. If we all go get in a car wreck, I got to come up with $20,000 to figure out how to cover it. We cut off cable. We did all those types of things to make sure that we were going to be able to make it. And here I am 2 years into the journey with a $500,000 company. We get on a weekly basis, we're interacting with CEOs of public companies. I just had the CEO of a company who's trying to go public send his confidential internal strategy deck to me, right? And you'd never get that being the VP of sales at Bronto or whatever other area you might be. So my journey started off at Carolina. I was a liberal arts major, like philosophy and political science. Helped me learn how to think, didn't help me get a job, right? So I came out, what do those folks do? They either go to grad school or they land in a company. I took a look at some of the larger companies. I hated it. I absolutely hated the concept of being in a big, stodgy company. And one of the places that I interviewed in Washington, D.C., I walked up and I got a dog came running down the hall and, you know, sniffed you where you're not supposed to be sniffed. And a guy came around the corner with jeans that had holes in them. The entire group were rugby players, and they decided that they were going to go kick the hell out of this one company called Attachmate. And they went after them and took 70% of the marketplace by sheer guts and hard work and startup effort. And I loved it. I loved that environment. So the last tenet that I tend to offer entrepreneurs is work insanely hard, right? That there are a whole bunch of smart people all around you. There's a ton of smart people in this room. The thing that you can control outside of, you're not going to make yourself smarter, right? You may learn, you may acquire more knowledge, but you've got the hand that you've been dealt. But something you can control is how hard you're hustling. And so you know, what that ended up playing out for me in this company, and I was given an opportunity to step up into a VP role. We launched a new product, and that was my very first taste of really doing the entrepreneurial thing. So long and short of it, we ended up back in Durham, started with Bronto, had a great ride there. But the moment that I had enough capital to be able to go do the thing I needed to do, we went out and tried an idea. Guess what? The BuzzBox utterly failed. And I've got that hardware piece sitting on my desk every single day to remind me how stupid that idea was and how good Windsor Circle is. And now as we're going into this, we're having a tremendous opportunity to make big waves and do fun things. The last thing I was going to share with you is that a thing that a lot of people have a hard time with entrepreneurship is that they fear that if they fail, they're going to be poor and destitute, they're going to have nowhere to live and all these types of things. And that is absolutely not true. Now, it may mean that you're driving an old Honda Civic, right? for a while. It may mean that you have to put the kids' not 401k, the kids' college savings program on hold for a couple years, but you'll get it back. Like, everybody in this room is super smart. You're ultra employable. If you decide to make the jump,